What if every night we looked up at not one, but two glowing moons in the sky? How would tides behave? How would calendars evolve? And how would life on Earth be transformed forever? This is the story of what could happen if Earth had two moons. The moon has been Earth's loyal companion for over 4.5 billion years. It stabilizes our planet's tilt, controls tides, and lights up our night skies. But what if there were two of them? Our moon is about 3,474 kilometers in diameter and orbits Earth at an average distance of 384,400 kilometers. Its gravitational pull creates the tides that we depend on for coastal ecosystems. But even beyond tides, the moon plays a role in regulating Earth's axial tilt. Without our current moon, Earth might wobble chaotically like Mars, destabilizing climates across the globe, so adding another moon could either balance or totally disrupt this delicate system. Let's imagine Earth with a second moon. There are two main configurations that could work. Either a smaller second moon in a stable orbit farther out, or two moons sharing the same orbital path in opposite positions, like a Trojan pair. The idea isn't entirely science fiction. There's a theory that Earth once had a second moon roughly 1,200 kilometers wide, which may have collided with our current moon in a slow crash. The idea isn't entirely science fiction. There's a theory that Earth once had a second moon roughly 1,200 kilometers wide, which may have collided with our current moon in a slow crash. The most immediate and dramatic effect of two moons would be on tides. With two separate gravitational pulls, Earth's oceans would become much more dynamic. Tides would likely be taller, more frequent, and unpredictable. This would reshape coastlines and affect marine life that depends on regular tidal cycles. Fish migration, coral spawning, and even human coastal infrastructure could all be disrupted. If the second moon were smaller and farther out, its tidal influence would be weaker. But the interference pattern with the first moon would still cause unusual tidal rhythms. Two moons would also create more frequent and unpredictable lunar eclipses. We'd see double shadows on Earth, and more instances of one moon blocking sunlight from the other. Imagine the beauty of one moon rising as the other sets, or the two moons crossing paths during twilight. Astrologers would have a field day. Calendars would have to adapt to two lunar cycles, making traditional months obsolete. We might have to name new moon phases for these interactions. Culturally, the effect would be immense. Myths, legends, and even religions have formed around the moon. With two moons, our ancestors would have woven twice as many stories. Night would be brighter, especially when both moons are full. This might affect sleep cycles, nocturnal animal behavior, and even crime rates in urban areas. Artists and poets would be inspired by the dual moons, perhaps painting one as a god of war and the other as a goddess of fertility. But it's not all beauty and mythology. Having two moons could create orbital chaos depending on their masses and positions. They could destabilize each other's orbits over time. Collisions between the moons could eventually occur, sending debris into Earth's atmosphere. A crash like that could lead to a meteor storm or even extinction-level impacts. NASA simulations show that even a slightly wrong orbital angle could result in an unstable second moon. Its orbit might decay, spiraling it into Earth or flinging it into deep space. The evolution of life on Earth would have looked very different. Lunar-driven tides are thought to have helped life move from ocean to land. With two moons, this process might have accelerated, or been too violent for survival. Creatures may have evolved differently to cope with changing tides and brighter nights. Plants could have adapted to reflect or absorb more moonlight, and nocturnal predators might have grown larger or more specialized. Humans, too, might have evolved a more robust circadian rhythm to manage the dual lunar light cycles. Even our sense of time, storytelling, and seasons would have shifted dramatically. GPS systems would require recalibration due to increased gravitational variables. Satellite placement would be trickier, requiring new algorithms to avoid lunar interference. Space missions would be more complex, with added lunar gravity wells to navigate. On the bright side, we might have had a second candidate for lunar colonization. If the second moon had its own unique geology, it could have become a rival for exploration. Multiple moons would give us more options for mining rare elements, solar energy collection, and even emergency space bases in the event of Earth crises. Could Earth ever gain a second moon? Actually, Earth temporarily captures small asteroids as mini-moons all the time, though only briefly. One example, 2020 CD3, orbited Earth for nearly 3 years before drifting away. However, for a second large moon to exist long-term, it would need an almost perfect orbital balance. Otherwise, it risks crashing into the current moon or being ejected from Earth's orbit. Scientists believe that in the early solar system, such multi-moon scenarios were common. But over time, most were lost due to instability. 2 moons would mean a world of double beauty, but also double trouble. Our planet would be more dynamic, more dangerous, and perhaps more inspiring. It's a reminder of how finely tuned our current system truly is. So next time you look at the moon, imagine what the sky and life might be like if there were 2.